It's been a long and unforgiving winter. Maybe you winterized, or like us, maybe you paid the iron price. You wake up far from home, to the sounds of waves crashing, palm trees swaying, and of course, V-twin motors roaring in the distance. The truth is, I've made a lot of assumptions about Daytona Bike Week over the years, between the flood of clickbait thumbnails with some scantily clad bartender on Main Street, followed by a video shot in 1080p of a guy walking up and down Main Street, combined with the reputation of generally flat and straight riding. Over the years, I just generally overlooked this event with my sights always set on Sturgis. But in 2024, I would finally be able to get the time off of work needed to hit this rally properly. And with so many exciting new bikes on the horizon, I knew I had to make it out this year. Within hours, I realized Daytona Bike Week was far more than what I previously assumed. Between the cathartic feeling of escaping a brutal New York winter, to having the first look at new bikes and products, to the various performance bike shows, to the incredibly unique and picturesque riding environment, and of course, the people, the riders, and the good energy you will encounter along the way. Like any good motorcycle rally, the true experience lies far beyond Main Street. Whether this is your first time going to Daytona or your 50th, come ride along with me in this video as we explore some of my favorite aspects of Daytona Bike Week. So if you've been following me over the years, you know I'm a true four-season rider. Once the snow, salt, and ice comes, we stand defiant and never stop riding. That being said, being able to shed all of my heavy winter riding gear for a brief time is truly an incredible feeling that only a biker could understand, as we have a connection to the elements far closer and intimate than most. Throughout hundreds of miles over this week without my many layers and heated gear, feeling the sun on my skin, I would come home completely energized with a new excitement and anticipation for the upcoming spring riding weather. I guess this is why they call this the official kickoff to the riding season. Now, is the riding gonna be as epic as carving through the canyons within the Black Hills at the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally? Of course not. But trying to compare this to Sturgis is your first mistake, because at the end of the day, they are just two completely different things. The riding that can be offered here, especially considering that it's still technically winter, is fairly unique. I would enjoy just cruising over the various bridges, cutting through the gentle mist surrounded by nothing but water. The famous loop simply does not disappoint, which takes you from cruising along a waterside road to entering what feels like a prehistoric jungle surrounded by overhanging vegetation in seemingly every direction. And honestly, New York City being my default riding environment, even when we were just crushing miles on the highway, I would be very appreciative with how well the roads were maintained down here. I don't think I hit one single pothole. So yeah, are you going to be scraping peg on most of these rides? Probably not. But it doesn't always have to be that, and sometimes it's just taking in a truly unique riding environment. If you want even more detailed information on some of the best rides within Daytona, definitely check out what Hog has to offer this year between detailed recommended routes as well as their international ride. So the truth is, Daytona Bike Week completely changed my path and trajectory as a rider. Last year, I was able to be one of the very first to throw a leg over the recently reimagined bagger platform. And upon that first mile on that 2024 Road Glide, I knew a future with this bike would simply be inevitable. Whether you're in the market for a new bike or not, this is a good time to be among the very first to test ride whatever new bikes are being offered in 2025. All the recent YouTube content that gets a lot of views is generally somebody hyping up whatever new bikes are being offered. Well, at Daytona, you don't need some dude telling you his thoughts and speculations. You could throw a leg over these new bikes and see it firsthand for yourself. Beyond new bike offerings, literally every vendor you could think of is going to be setting up shop at Daytona, so this is also a good time to start thinking about how you might want to further dial in your bike for the miles ahead this season. So there's always going to be that hell yeah brother crowd hanging around and throwing back beers on Main Street all day. But we know that at the end of the day, real bikers ride to ice cream, not the bar, am I right? So for those of us who are in it for the true miles, there exists no shortage of performance shows these days. Between Jeff from V-Twin Visionaries show as well as the Performance Hangover show and so many more, you're going to find no shortage of truly jaw-dropping builds out there. Speaking of true performance, another huge reason to come out to Daytona is to be a part of the King of the Baggers by Moto America. It's one thing to see these bikes within social media content, but to be there and hear the engines roar and that smell of burnt rubber on the track is truly a different experience completely. So there's a lot of myths these days about Florida and aka Florida Man. Speaking of which, tied with the massive recent achievement of having none other than Matt Laidlaw compliment my videos, we recently had the ultimate Florida Man subscribe to the channel. I should probably quit now because it's never going to get better than this. But anyway, there's a lot of modern myths and stereotypes around Florida. But anytime I've been down there, the people is part of the reason that keeps me coming back. I mean, take this guy for example.
What's wrong with it?
Hey, what's up?
Anything wrong with it?
No, I'm good. I'm shooting a video. Yeah, I do YouTube.
My bad.
I appreciate that though,
I
man.
thought you broke down. I'm right down the street.
No, man, the biker community is strong out here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Beating the hell out of it. I said you broke down, right?
No, we're good, man. Thank you.
So rather than writing me off as some perceived rich dentist on one of the most expensive modern Harley Davidsons, he went out of his way to make sure I was okay. Especially within the biker community out here, I would encounter this type of genuinely welcoming energy out here, a stark contrast from what I'm used to back at home. On that note, this is a factor that Daytona probably has over Sturgis, and that comes down to the diversity of bikes you're going to encounter. If you've gone to Sturgis before, then you know you're typically going to see one particular style and model of bike out there. However, in Daytona, I really did feel like I encountered way more diversity in terms of bikes. There really is something for everyone out here. So in conclusion, in the past I had made a lot of assumptions about Daytona, and damn was I wrong. Whether you're trying to get some sunny miles without your heated gear while it's still being winter, or check out the latest and greatest factory offerings as well as cutting-edge custom performance builds, Daytona Bike Week is truly an event not to sleep on. If you've been to Daytona before, be sure to leave a comment about what you recommend doing, whether it's food related or riding. If you've watched this far, be sure to both like and subscribe, as it does help us as we continue to lay down the real miles. As always, we do have some of the finest merch out there for all the true mile crushers. And on that, prioritize quality miles and experiences over standing around and drinking on Main Street. FXDLS Brooklyn is out.
Goodbye.